Hello. For the White Rose Philosophical Study Group, I'm Mark Freeman. For more information about the White Rose Philosophical Study Group or the Church of Illumination, please see the links in the description below. Links to videos 1 through 5 are also included. This is video number 6 in this series, wherein we discuss spiritual and philosophical concepts that can be applied to everyday life or any other worthy endeavor. In our previous videos, we've established, using scientific arguments in as far as is possible, that a divine essence or divine spark or God seed exists within every person and manifests as a person's conscience, a sense of right and wrong, either highly developed or barely developed at all. A question was raised as to what proof we can offer that God, or a supreme being, exists. We offered the following definition of God: a living, conscious, time-transcendent being who created and creates all that ever was, is, and ever will be. We showed that time transcendence is something that is not just a philosophical concept, but a reality. All energy in the form of electromagnetic waves, or what we know as light, heat, radio waves, microwaves, etc., is in fact time transcendent. Or, in simpler terms, light, the first creation of God according to Genesis, experiences no time. Light exists simultaneously in the past, present, and future. So, what in the observable universe can tell us that a living God or supreme being exists? The fact that the universe is alive is so apparent that anyone who cannot accept this truth is simply not paying attention to the world, the solar system, our galaxy, and the universe as a whole. Life is everywhere. Even the most current theories regarding the origin of life on Earth propose that it came from outside and did not originate on Earth itself. Science refers to this theory as panspermia. Viruses and bacteria have been discovered on meteorites, and life is thought to exist on some of the moons of the planets Jupiter and Saturn. But what about the universe itself? In order to understand the nature of complex life on a universal scale, we need to look a little closer to home: the human body. The human body is a vastly complex organism that is made up of simpler life forms, which include individual cells and bacteria, all working in concert to form the physical beings we are privileged to experience life in. This is an established fact of science. It is also an established fact that there is no reason why life as we know it should all be carbon-based, but rather, for example, could be based on silicon or some other appropriate element. It has even been proposed that intelligent life could be based on plasma, the so-called fourth state of matter beyond gas. Since this is the case, we ask a logical question. If life can exist on the micro scale, why not on the macro scale? Simply put, why could not the stars, solar systems, galaxies, and galactic structures be the simpler forms of life, just like the cells of our bodies, making up a complex superior being using this universal body, if you will, to bring all things into manifestation or creation? The structure of the universe even resembles the neural network of the human brain. The fact that the universe is alive is so self-apparent that to deny it is tantamount to denying that the sky is blue on a clear day. This being the case, we will spend no more time on this particular supposition. Now, this brings us to the part of our definition involving consciousness. What in the observable world or universe indicates that a conscious, supreme being exists. First, we need to define what we mean when we say consciousness. Everyone knows what it is, but few satisfactory definitions exist. One might say that it's self-awareness, which is true as far as it goes, but self-awareness is only one aspect of consciousness. A second aspect is one we aver to be the same as our definition of wisdom, knowledge obtained by experience, observation, or experimentation. However, with regard to consciousness specifically, we propose that this awareness or knowledge of something is acquired first by experiencing it unknowingly, then being denied the experience, engendering a sense of loss, and then action to reacquire what has been lost. In other words, knowledge of something by experiencing its opposite. You cannot know the value and nature of something you have until you experience not having it. You cannot know warmth without knowing cold, light without dark, day without night, love without rejection, joy without sorrow, health without illness, success without failure, peace without anxiety, life without death, youth without old age. The universe and the basic building blocks of matter are polar opposites as well, positively charged protons and negatively charged electrons, north and south poles of planets, opposite magnetic poles in stars, galaxies, and ultimately the universe itself. All of this suggests what is called potential difference, or energy waiting to be released. Polar opposites attracting each other, awaiting a process of ultimately attaining equilibrium, their first form before they were separated, or, put in religious terms, as ostensibly professed by all the world's major religions, peace. A rechargeable battery is the perfect example. It is of no use in a state of equilibrium. However, when positive charges are separated from negative charges and placed in opposition to each other, they seek each other out to reestablish their state of equilibrium, and we have a flow of electric current. By their separation, we can say they are now aware of each other due to their mutual attraction and the need for rebalance. This is, at its core, the fundamental principle of action, life, and events in the physical world, and governs all aspects of the human experience. We all act because we either want, need, or desire something. Action is motion with intent or purpose. Since we are defining consciousness as an awareness of a lost characteristic, desire to reattain it, and action toward that goal, then by this definition, electrons and protons, planets and stars, galaxies and galactic clusters, in fact, the entire multiverse, being in motion, seeking equilibrium, is a conscious being. This has been proven scientifically and mathematically by measuring and observing entangled subatomic particles. These particles are aware of each other no matter how far away they are from each other. If one is measured as positive in one vector, the other is negative. If the first is changed to negative, the second changes automatically to positive. Again, no matter how far away they are from each other. Consciousness is a dynamic process in which that which is known but hidden is rediscovered, relearned, or re-experienced. It is the process of bringing into manifestation that which already exists in a non-physical form. That's worth repeating. It is the process of bringing into manifestation that which already exists in a non-physical form. Two excellent examples of this are 1. The acorn of a magnificent oak tree, which already has the blueprint of the potential tree within it, and 2. Every cell in the human body, each of which has the DNA information to duplicate your entire physical form, a process known as cloning, which is a scientific proof. Now, it is extremely important to emphasize here that the hidden characteristic, the means by which it is reacquired, and the final manifestation of that characteristic are all part of the same system. A good example is a WAV file of music on your computer or a downloaded movie. Both examples exist in their entirety in your computer as information. But in order to experience them, that is, be conscious of them, you must run the program that will bring them visually and audibly into manifestation. But they are all still part of the same system. An older and perhaps better analogy is the old-fashioned movie projector. It consists of 3 major parts: the white light from the projector, the film of the movie, and the white screen to reflect the projection. If the movie is being projected into the night sky without a screen, nothing can be seen. It requires something to be reflected off in order to see it. This, of course, as everyone knows, is a white screen. Notice that the light from the projector and the screen are actually opposites. The color, the true color, of the screen itself is actually black because it is reflecting all the white light. This is very important to understand and realize. White is the amalgamation of every color in the visible spectrum. An infinite number of color and motion possibilities and combinations already exist, both from the white light and on the reflective screen. Let me repeat that. An infinite number of color and motion possibilities and combinations already exist, both from the white light and on the reflective screen. Any movie can be projected using the white light and the screen, proof positive that their infinite possibilities exist. However, when the movie is projected on the screen, it only reflects that which it receives. So in this example, we are equating the manifestation of the movie on the screen, that is, its reflection, to consciousness, or put simply, a process whereby one may know oneself or the nature of any given thing, which is what consciousness is. This triad, a source of infinite possibilities, an intermediary, and a medium upon which to project that source, is the basic structure of the human soul. Referring back to our previous videos, Jesus declares in John 14:20, "On that day you will realize that I am in my Father, and you are in me, and I am in you." This, as we have shown, is a theme to be found in all the world's major religions. If we accept this as true, and we do accept this to be true, it means that God, the infinite, time-transcendent source of everything that has existed, exists, and ever will exist, is within you and every other human being. Now, remember what we said about all of creation. Everything that exists in the tangible world is or can be transformed into light. And we just pointed out that light is the amalgamation of all colors and movement, is representative of an infinite number of possibilities, and is time transcendent, exactly as our definition of God. So, just like the movie projector we just described, you have an infinite divine light within you that is separate from but an integral part of your being. This is not just a metaphorical statement. This is a real light, above and superior to light in the physical world, but existing in the spiritual world with identical characteristics. To put it in context with our example of the movie projector, the light source is the spiritual light within you. The film through which it passes is your mind and imagination, and the physical world about you is the screen upon which the movie is projected. Now, consider this very carefully. If you have an infinite source of light within you, God, and all that God is, differing only in amplitude to God, then you have the power, through first your imagination, and then through proper effort and action, to project upon the world anything you desire that is in harmony with that divine light source. Let me repeat that. You have the power through first your imagination, and then through proper effort and action to project upon the world anything you desire that is in harmony with that divine light source, bringing your imagined creation into manifestation. To create is to be a co-creator with God, both within and without. To engage in the act of creation is the holiest prayer one can offer to the great architect of the universe. Look about you. Creation is taking place constantly, everything, everywhere, meaning the whole universe of trillions of stars and galaxies is in a process of creation and transformation, as is nature, the world, and you. You have the power to create your own inner and outer world, and to people it with all the inhabitants of heaven and beyond. You are, at heart, a divine being inhabiting an animal body. As a divine and animal being, you are basically a copy in miniature of the entire universe, which is, as we have shown, both a physical and spiritual entity. Now, in the previous paragraph, we spoke of the spiritual as opposed to the tangible. Is there any proof that a spiritual world exists? Again, all we need do is look to the world about us for proof that both higher and lower realms exist beyond our awareness. And that will be the subject of our next video. But we leave you with this thought. How you view the world is no more or less than a reflection of the state of your own soul and its relationship to the Christ light within. Thank you for spending your time with me, and always remember, life is a magnificent adventure. Never stop learning.